So here's a trick question for you. What do you do when you completely burn down on a project? The answer is to give yourself more work. So anyway, this is going to be the last update before I get the whole thing done. And I'm really close, but not quite there yet. So anyway, I did finish the island. So I used, as I said, I used my Blood Axe camo colors, which is an off-white, yellowish, and which is in this case, I can't remember. It's some badger military color and some sort of forest green, military green, and then washed with Nuln oil. So here is the island. There's the helipads. So lots of rust work on the non-painted areas. And there's the. I decided not to go with the name, but I just went with the Blood Axe symbol right there, and some decals for glyphs. So yeah, this was a stencil. So I'm very happy with that. How that turned out, looks great. I was actually going to use decals for the name, because this symbol right here is DACA, but they don't have a decal for cruiser. So I was going to have a DACA cruiser in glyphs, but we'll just call it Cruiser and stick with the Blood Axe symbol. I think that just came out perfect. So after it's painted, everything's all done. Lots of washing. I decided to do more. Always more, right? The first thing I did was I actually ordered some more LEDs. In this case, I ordered some 3mm white and blue LEDs. And so I've actually lit this thing up, designed it for battery power. So let's take a look inside here. So I got the wires here. So I got one LED here over the door, one in the front, and then one in the bridge. I do have some more parts on the way. In this case, some battery holders, some actually 3 AA battery holders. So these are designed to run off 4.5 volts. And so it's the same resistors I used on the 5 volt input, but keeping it on the 4, and it seems to work just fine running on 4.5 volts instead. So that kind of makes me happy that I don't have to change the voltages. You know, and if someday down the road I have a chance to run these things off the main power instead of batteries, that means I can just hook it up without having to rewire it. So this is just a temporary piece of battery here. This came from a dollar store LED flashlight. It was 3 AAAs. This is going to be running off 3 AA's. I went with 3 instead of 2. Simply to have more power, more amp hours, so the lights would last longer overall. I said this isn't staying very well, but it's not meant to stay in very well. It's just meant to be very temporary. So these things in here, I'm going to have to show you. There we go. Okay. So there's the front light. These LEDs are very bright, but they're also very directional. And then we got the one over the door there. See how bright they're coming up on the camera. And then for the bridge, I put in a blue LED. And after putting in the blue LED, I realized that the bridge looked pretty bare, so I grabbed some bits and I put in some dudes. As you can see there, I got a steering wheel, a ship's wheel, just made out of plastic card. The pilot is made from one of the gunner bodies from the battle wagon, and along with arms and a head from the battle wagon. And then the big mech here behind him, running the show, is the body is from the mech with KFF, and it's actually fine cast, and the arms and heads are from the plastic knobs kit. And I got a little control panel there from the Vendetta kit, Valkyrie kit. But mainly it's just the ship's wheel. I want it in there. No weapons, of course, because they're flying the helicarrier. So that gives the bridge something interesting to look at, especially since it's all lit up by that nice blue LED, which is coming through on the camera a lot better than it is coming through in real life. In the camera it's really bright, not so much in real life. So here is the island. Everything is done on the island except for, of course, getting the actual AA battery box. I'm just going to hot glue the battery box inside, no switches, So I just pull a battery out to turn it off. So that's all that's left to do on the island, is to get that battery box assembled. So I've made a lot of progress on the other terrain too. Oops. Okay, so here we have the front turret. I'm going to redo that here. And so here we have the front turret. Again, it's not fitting in the... And basically all I did, this is the same charcoal metallic paint that started on the island, and then I just rusted it up with this is my usual rust colors: Model Air Rust, Doom Bull Brown, and Troll Slayer Orange, just with a sponge brush. And so that's how that came out. But of course, again, I couldn't leave well enough alone, so this also required some LEDs. Yep, more LEDs. So here's the inside of it. Let's see here. Very well wired, by the way, if I do say so myself, and I do. Okay. So again, we have a nice bright white light over the door, which will project quite nicely out onto the deck. And then I had for a long time some votive candles or votive LED candles from the dollar store. And they're basically just yellow LEDs that flicker. Instead of blink or whatever, they have this nice flickering pattern. So I decided to use those in the gun barrel. So instead of being like a cannons, they're actually like energy weapons that are firing. So those are going to be flickering on the front of the Helicarrier. Again, battery box is going to get hot glued to the bottom of it, and pull the battery out to turn it off. But yeah, so that's the front turret. And those flickering LEDs, I think, just look really nice, like it's actually shooting energy, like big laser beams out of it or something. Very nice indeed. And lastly is the two outriggers. Well, not outriggers, but whatever these are called. I don't even know what I call them. The gun emplacements. So again, same technique. Rusting, same rust colors, painting all the diags. Oh, and then lastly was a dry brush of the same aluminum. I was going to use chainmail, but I already had aluminum out, so I just used the Vallejo Model Air metallic aluminum for both the edges and the dry brushing. And in the middle here, you'll see there's a little less rust here in the middle of the floor, because that's where people are going to be most of their time walking. So it's like it's a little worn out and a little heavier, scratched up with the aluminum. So that's it. That is pretty much the terrain. It's just about done. And what's left to do, as I said, is wait for my battery boxes to get in and get those soldered in and mounted correctly. And I think now that I've done all the additional work on the island, which I hadn't planned on doing, I think I'm done. I still have a little more painting to do and some optional painting I can do. But I said I am getting severely burned out on this project, and I just want it over with. So I may not do everything I was going to do. Well, I've done everything I was going to do, and I had a list of optional things. I still got plenty of time, and I may not get to everything that I was thinking about adding to it, like the laser cut card mech shop is probably the one casualty that's not going to get done, because I'm just really tired of this. So that was a pretty long update. You can see the terrain is coming along very well. I do love these battery powered LEDs in the island and the turret. I think they're going to really make these pieces pop out even more. And hey, if you're interested in some LED tutorials, maybe because this is just really basic stuff that I do on these, I can definitely do some videos on wiring the stuff up. So that's it for this video, for this update. I said the next update will probably be in 1 week and will be the final showcase. Thanks for watching.